Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a break with Stephen Shamus.
Welcome back, Alex. Good to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
I think we have a great show today,
Yes.
as usual. I actually think we do a good job every week. I think the fans out there will let us know if you have any feedback of topics you want us to discuss. I think we do stuff that's relevant. I think we do stuff that's timely, and we try to hit the zeitgeist of where things are coming, where things are going, and what's hot and what's not. We only do about 25 to 30 minutes a week, so we can only cover so much. But I think we do a pretty good job.
I mean, you'll never run out of stuff to talk about.
That's true.
We'll always have something else.
I do feel like sometimes people like to hear themselves speak, and then it just goes on and on.
Yeah,
that's not for us. That's not for us. So what are we covering today, Alex?
So we've got some fun stuff. You might even call it a Netflix special, almost. We're going to be talking about Umbrella Academy.
I have adopted 6 children, gifted with abilities far beyond the ordinary. I give you the Umbrella Academy.
We're going to be talking about Old Guard.
Mother? Let's just say we're very hard to kill. You've got questions, kid. You want answers?
And then our good friend Miles Morales, which Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix. So theoretically, this is a Netflix special.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is hotter than Miles right now. It's like you cannot find anything with Miles's character on it that at all. I mean, double, triple, whatever. We'll get to that later on in the show. So hit us off, Alex. What do we got first?
Yeah, let's talk Umbrella Academy, which I think surprised every single person on how good that show was.
Yeah, they did a great job. Season 1. Season 2 is on the air now. So, it'll be another hit season for them. I think it's something that's going to have legs. I think Netflix, obviously, after the Marvel series ended, I think they're looking for new IP to kind of keep putting on. And I think they keep looking at companies like IDW, Image. They keep announcing new things, Paper Girls, all these other new things that are coming out. Right. So I think you're going to see more and more of this stuff because the Marvel and DC doors are closed, right? Yep. They're doing their own TV. They're doing their own film. They're doing HBO Max with Doom Patrol, and Marvel's doing its own television series. So I do think that they're going to start mining all these databases. And there's some great series out there, Alex, for years. That people have been reading all this stuff and people have been consuming it, and the rest of the world didn't really know about it. But a lot of this stuff originated in graphic novel form. Yeah. So we're going to try to make sense of it because a lot of these books, especially when they're independents. And when I say independence, I know Image is not necessarily independent anymore. When you start talking about these books, there's a lot of unique books attached to them or variations or giveaway types or different versions and variants that they do in cons and shows and this and that. It's not necessarily as straightforward as some of the other ones. And when you go online, it could be very intimidating trying to find all these variations and all these variants of all these unique books that may have come out 3 years ago, 5 years ago, Bull and Chain 20 years ago, right? Like, how do you find all the variants that are going on there? So we'll try to help make sense of it for you. We'll give you some dates and times of things that came out, and then we'll talk about them a little bit. And then, as we're seeing more and more, Alex, also some of these free comic book day stuff, whether it was Jackpot with Spider-Man, we're going to talk about that with Umbrella Academy now. All of a sudden now people are going to start putting their free comic book day books away instead of, tossing them, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. So speaking of free comic book day, Umbrella Academy 2007, Dark Horse. It's an unnumbered free comic book day book. So remember, those free comic book days, they came in bundles. Were you in Midtown in 2007 or So talk us through about free comic book day, what it is, what it means, and how do you get the books? How do you distribute the books?
Yeah, I mean, so it used to be the first weekend in May. It's changed, obviously, because of COVID. It's usually wrapped around a media tie-in, TV show, movie. They try to push it around the same time. Essentially, you go to your local comic book store and you can get free comic books that are specifically made for that day for people to try. So, that's why you see a lot of the Marvel stuff, like with Jackpot. It was a tryout book. There's a lot of different stories in there. Umbrella Academy, this is the first time you saw it in print for people to get interested in it. They gave out for free. Free Comic Book Day is a really fun event. It's good for collectors. Collectors love it. They want every single free comic book day that's given away. And it's great to bring your friends or your family to try stuff out. You may not be comic book readers at all, but you're a big fan of My Chemical Romance, and you go to the comic book store and they have Umbrella Academy, written by Gerard Way. You might be interested in reading it. You pick that up. You pick up the series coming out. It's a good promotion for comic book companies and for stores without spending a lot of money to buy these books.
Right. So, and generally they weren't small print runs per se, right?
No,
I mean, these are generally large print, right? But I do think a lot of the books get tossed, right? Especially if they're not known at the time. I think a book like Spider-Man would have been held back a little bit more. But Umbrella Academy was, again, not top of mind at the time. Although Gerard Way was a known quantity, people did know who he is, and people may have held on to those. Mm-hmm. So there are 531 Blue Label 9.8s, 36 Gold Label 9.8s, probably signed by Gerard. He did a few shows here and there.
He's in San Diego. He's in New York. Yeah, he's been around. He's
done those few shows. So you could have gotten him on those, and those sell for around $225. I do think as the series progresses and becomes part of the conversation a little bit more, and as Netflix does more and more with it, you will start to see prices rise. But that's not a bad price. Look, it's not a low. It would not be considered a low pop book. But I think at this point, a 13-year-old book. I don't know how much more that pop is going to go up. I don't know that you're going to find any more copies out there, but it's not a low pop book, but still a decent buy at $225.
I wish I hadn't sold mine for $10 3 months after I got it for Free Comic Book Day.
And you probably thought you were a champ too, right?
Yeah. Hey, I got it for free. It's $10.
Got it for free. $10. This is my lunch for the day. Got it. Okay. Then in September of 2007, so a few months after Free Comic Book Day, issue number 1 ships. There's a few different versions of them, so we'll get into those quickly here. So you have we're only going to talk about the more specialized books because the non-specialized ones really don't have a lot of value. It's really the variants that are the ones that are selling for a lot of money. So the first variant cover, Apocalypse Suite, came out September 2007. There are 118 Blue Label 9.8s and 18 Gold Label 9.8s, probably also Gerard. That book sells for about $350, Alex. So again, at 118, now you're looking at a low pop. Yeah. Look, it's not super, super duper low, but it's still a low pop book at 118 pieces. Then they made a special edition Apocalypse Suite number 1, limited to 1,000 units. That book, there are only 101 Blue Label 9.8s, 13 Gold Label 9.8s, and 1 9.9. So it has around the same population as the regular variant, but because it was limited to 1,000, this book sells for $800 in 9.8.
Yeah.
So again, I think the overall population of the book is clearly much lower, but the Blue Label population is not that much lower, and that's something to look at because if you're looking at value, and the 118 pop book is $350, and the 101 pop book is $800. You might be better off buying the other one because, again, you're not going to see a lot of copies on eBay. Again, it's a 13-year-old book at this point.
Yeah.
The basic cover that we're talking about, the regular first appearance of Umbrella Academy in print, is only a $150 book. We started talking about that earlier. It's not that expensive. There are 297 Blue Label 9.8s. There are 13 Gold Label 9.8s. So, again, the regular book, not an expensive book. I don't know that people are going to go there down the future, but at $150, it's definitely worth a shot.
Yeah, especially if you're a fan of the show. It's a nice collectible to own and keep and put on your wall.
Right. And then the last book on Umbrella Academy that really seems to be collectible, that people seem to be chasing, is Umbrella Academy Dallas number 1. That came out in November of 2008, so about 14 months after the first appearance came out. And there was a Jim Lee variant cover. Very, very low pop on this book. Very, very super low book. It's only $150. There are 28 Blue Label 9.8s, wow. 24 Gold Label 9.8s. At $150, that might be the book to buy. It's Jim Lee.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex. Yeah, go to your local comic shop. It's a great cover. That seems to be the Umbrella Academy book that people are chasing. So I think those are really the 5 key Umbrella Academy books that you're looking at right now. There's a lot of versions, a lot of variants, a lot of different things going on. I think those are the 5 that you need to focus on. All right, what do we got next, Alex?
Let's keep on that Netflix train. Old Guard just came out.
Old Guard. Great movie. Charlize Theron was excellent. That movie came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, Netflix goes, hey, Old Guard. And you're like, Old Guard, like what is that? And then you start doing some research, find out it's a graphic novel. It's from 2017. So it is only 3 years old. So that
very quick. Yeah.
Very quick. I mean, that never happens, right? You never see that kind of speed. Again, you're dealing with the book with a lot of different versions of the first issue. And when you go online and you're trying to decipher which this variant, what's that gold foil, it's very hard to figure out what's which. We're going to try to make sense of it for you today. Give us a little bit of background on the Old Guard, Alex.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was written by Greg Rucka. I mean, he, in Image, just knocks him out of the park every time. Black Magic. He just is one of the great independent writers in modern comics. And it's weird that more stuff of his hasn't been taken, but it's going to be. Everything is going on its way. Everything that he's written that's independent is going to be picked up, and it's slowly making that way. It's the movie, without any spoilers. Essentially, you're looking at immortal warriors through time, and how they interact with each other. It's not just one; it's a few, and some of them can die, and some of them can't die. So it's an interesting movie, interesting theme for a comic as well. I mean, it's a very simple thread. So when you're watching a movie like Old Guard and you enjoy it, the way the reason why that movie could be made is the writing of Greg Rucka and how he took his 12 issues and made it into what it is now as in that movie form.
Yeah, and Charlize Theron would not necessarily be your top of mind,
right?
When you think about this, and I like that. Sometimes these movies, they come out of nowhere. You're not thinking about somebody. You're like, wow, Charlize Theron, and wouldn't exactly be top of mind, but really does an amazing job in this film. And sometimes you're like, oh, the casting writers had something in their head. Greg Rucka probably had something in his head and said, oh, I want, sometimes you have a role and you have something in your head and it almost feels like it was written for her. I know it sounds kind of funny to say, like sometimes you see an actor portray a role and you're like, oh, they had somebody in mind. Yeah. And that's the person they had in mind to do it. And Charlize definitely falls into that. Oh yeah. All right. So let's tackle all these different versions here. So we're going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different versions today. Yes. Okay. You ready? Sitting down, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got my pen and paper.
So you got your pen and paper. Okay, good. So the first version, number 1, February of 2017. All these books came out in February of 2017. Is the gold foil Greg Rucka version. That book is a $225 to $300 book. There are 61 blue labels, 3 gold label 9.8s. That's a low pop. Yep. $225 to $300, not bad. I think they're already announced a sequel to this film. And if they got the first film done within 3 years, I think you're going to see another film pretty quick. I mean, 2 years. Yeah.
Once they open up Hollywood regular, they're going to knock it out.
Right. This could be a good franchise for them, right? This is a superhero type franchise for them. So again, definitely, you're talking about a low pop book at $225 to $300. You can't go wrong. Now, similar to the Valiant books back in the day, there's a gold foil version and then there's an embossed gold foil version. It's very hard to tell the difference. I had to do a lot of research, a lot of digging. It's notated on the CGC slabs, but a lot of times when they're listed online, they're not necessarily listed in a way that you would instantly recognize which one is which. So you got to watch out. You got to read the slab because sometimes people write gold version and it could be the gold foil or the gold embossed. The embossed gold version sells for around the same price. I think probably because a little bit of the confusion. Yeah. But the pop is more than double. Wow. Okay. So there's 137 blue label 9.8s, 6 gold label 9.8s. I think the gold foil regular one is the buy because it's half the pop. Why would you pay the same price for something that's double the pop? I'm telling you, I did a lot of research on this. I really feel like there's confusion in terms of which book is which, and you have to actually read the CGC label. Okay, then they did these 25th anniversary versions. They did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different versions of them. So let's take you through each of them. First of all, there's the regular 25th anniversary edition. Oh, you like that, Alex,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
And that one sells for about $175. It's a normal pop book. There's a whole bunch of them out there. That's a basic level $175 book. That's your basic standard vanilla ice cream, right? So the next one, Alex, after the 25th anniversary edition, is you've got the Virgin cover, 25th anniversary Virgin cover. There's only one blue label 9.8 and 0 gold label 9.8.
Wow.
So obviously we don't have any pricing on it. If you find those books and they're 9.8s, send them to CGC. Then you have the 25th anniversary Virgin sketch cover, 4 blue label 9.8s, 0 gold label 9.8s. Send it to CGC if you find it. By the way, if you have Charlize Theron have a dozen event,
All right, there you go.
That's a book to get signed. Then there's a 25th anniversary blank edition. There are zero pop.
Oh, wow.
00. Yeah, write it down. I see you writing it down.
Yeah.
Out there in podcast. Down on podcast. Let's see if you get a 9.8. Then there's another basic level 25th anniversary. So the basic level 25th anniversary is there's a 16. I know we're going to jump back a little bit. There's a 16 pop blue label, 1 pop gold label. That's why they sell for $175. Still a very, very low mintage book. Then there's a 25th anniversary sketch edition. Okay, 4 blue label 9.8s, 0 gold label 9.8s. Again, find one, send it in. There are people who sell these variant covers. You got to be able to find them somewhere. I mean, I know they have low print runs, Alex, but you got to be able to get these out.
Well, these are part of the blind boxes, weren't they? Or this was the Image blind box anniversary. What they
did a whole.
Yeah, that you ordered a bunch of black bagged Superman, black bag versions of an Image 25th anniversary, and you don't know what you were getting in there. There's Walking Deads, there's Old Guards, there's a bunch of Image titles that were out that time. I think there might have been some Spawns, but you don't know what you're getting. So all that stuff was spread out through all the stores, and so if you're open them all, you got to figure out which cover you have. But that's why these are very hard to find.
Yeah, and back then, in 2017, you probably kept the Walking Dead books, and you probably didn't keep necessarily the old
traded
titles,
them,
right?
Or sold them. Yeah.
Right. So the last book that actually is trading a little bit is there was a convention edition. It was given out. It was sold at Emerald City. I believe it may have been sold at some subsequent shows. There are 28 blue label 9.8s, 4 gold label 9.8s, and those sell for around $400. Super, super, super low pop book. Who knows where they went?
Yeah.
Emerald City is a comic book lovers show.
Yes.
So it is a show where they would have gone there, they would have sold out, and people probably took them. They're probably in private collections. So if you're out there and you have one in your private collection, the print runs are the blue label are very, very low on those. I would send those in.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. So now we've come to the point in the show, your favorite part. I'm going to give you a little drum roll. Alex's pick of the week.
I think I need to sing some sort of like jingle for it, like an Alex's pick jingle, something quick.
All right, maybe starting next week. Maybe starting next
we'll
week.
See what happens.
Go find yourself a jingle. Go ahead. What do you got for us, Alex?
Just announced Alex Ross Marvel Frame anniversary variants. I don't even know if they're going to be 1 of 10s, if they're order alls, or if they're going to be very hard to find. But these new Alex Ross Marvel Virgin anniversary covers are amazing. Have you seen these pictures? It's just it's Alex Ross Wolverine, white background, and we've talked about this many times about the graphic design, the popping of the characters. I mean, these books look amazing. And again, we're not sure what they're going to be if the store can order 100 of them or they have to order 100 Wolverines to get one. We're not sure yet, but I think these books are going to be very, very hot in the secondary market. Alex Ross, when he did all this stuff, speaking of, I saw
your shirt. I was going to say something.
When he did those DC posters and those images, I mean, they were everywhere for years.
Yeah, I'm going to give you my Stephen pick of the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one in there. The San Diego Comic-Con exclusive WWE Elite Mr. T.
Oh yeah,
Can
yeah.
you imagine if I had one of these when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you had one of these when you were a kid?
That thing is amazing.
Sold out in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Can't get them. Gotta have to pay quadruple whatever.
150 on eBay, I'm sure, if not more.
Oh my God. If I had all the A-Team stuff when I was a kid. I can't even imagine having a Mr. T WWE Elite when I was a kid.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I couldn't resist, Alex.
Yeah.
So I hope you don't mind that.
That's also a good pick.
I hope you don't mind that I interceded in your show.
No, by all means. By all means.
All right. So we're gonna close out the show today with a very hot topic. What do we got, Alex?
Our guy, our Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Right. Spider-Man to a whole new generation. This book has taken off on fire. They keep announcing new characters that are going to appear in the next movie and the this and that next thing. And what we're going to do today is we're going to try to break it down for you because there are so many different series and so many different variants on each of the series. And the titles are so similar in nature and the ratios on the variants are so hard to decipher. And the prices have escalated so quickly that it almost seems like it's a free-for-all out there. And books that were $50, $60 3 months ago are $500 now. Like, no joke.
Yep.
And, you know, I see a lot of skepticism online. Oh, it's just a fad. It's never this. Yes, I heard that when Michael Jordan rookie cards were $50. I remember when Taskmaster first appearances were $200. I remember when Black Knight first appearances were a couple, and everything just keeps going up and up and up. So you could take that approach and like try to buck the market and, oh, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. Alex, you and I have been involved in this a long time. There, very, very, very few things go down.
It's just getting started. Like there is no, it's coming off the market or it's coming down. Miles Morales as a character that everybody knows about is just starting. Into the Spider-Verse is still hugely popular. The second movie is going to make just as much money, if not more than the first movie, because when that thing came to on demand, more people watched it. People still talk about it, still love it. The video game is a sequel to the already hit Spider-Man video game. It's only going to elevate him more. And at some point, he's going to be a live action character. They can't not do it.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing with Miles, and, you know, I have friends with kids, is like little kids.
Yeah.
He is the Spider-Man to those kids.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Holland is Spider-Man, no doubt about it. But Sony was very, very smart in how they portrayed Miles in that film. He came to life, and the whole character's hot. We're doing obviously the Shamik send-in offers. Mm-hmm. I think you're crazy. I think you got to send in a book. And the problem is actually trying to find books. I mean, you can't find anything.
Yeah.
Anything, even like common issues, you can't find. All right, so let's take you through. Today, in the future, we're going to tackle some of the other series. Today, we're going to talk about the 2014 series because that's the series that is most heavily focused on right now, the one that's blowing up, and it's very, very difficult to decipher. Yep. So there are 5 different versions. We're going to take you through the 5 different versions today and kind of give you some price updates on them. And who knows? I mean, by the time we come back to you next week, it could be 30% more than this, right? That's what happened the last time. It's happened with the Ultimate Fallouts, which we discussed. Okay, so in the 2014 series, the main book it's called Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man. Came out in July of 2014. David Marquez cover. David Marquez has really embodied that character. He's done a great job with the artwork. Some of the other variant cover artists like Sarah Pichelli have done an amazing job. All the artists on that series have really nailed it. They've done a very, very good job of picking the artist whose artwork lends itself to that character and that kind of graphic design like you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's why I think also you're starting to see these prices just escalate because of that particular reason, that aesthetically, they're all actually, you know, like I said, we were looking at books to try to get Shamik signed, and I just put out an APB like, can we just get some aesthetically pleasing books?
Yeah.
And almost all of them are aesthetically pleasing, and that's why you can't find any of them because people are just sending in any of them to get signed.
Yep.
So it's one of the few rare books where literally almost all of the covers have this very good aesthetic to them. They've really nailed it with the characters. So that book sells for around $200. I think that's cheap. Mm-hmm. There are 66 blue label 9.8s. There are 12 gold label 9.8s. It's a 6-year-old book at this point, and I don't know how many more are going to go in. I know people are sending in whatever Miles Morales stuff they got. I get it. I know that. I know that dealers still have some of those copies. They were not low printed books. They were popular books at the time. But for $200 for a 66 population, I think that's a great buy.
Yeah.
So next on the list is the 1 in 25 Peterson variant.
Mm-hmm.
And that book has 32 Blue Label 9.8s and 4 Gold Label 9.8s. That book sells for $550. I don't know who's signing the Gold Labels, but again, if you have a chance to send it into Shameek, I would send it into Shameek.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Probably Bendis. A lot of Bendises, I'm sure.
Probably a lot of Bendises. You're right. A lot of Bendises there. And then the next version of the book is the Fiona Staples 1 in 50 variant cover. Okay. Now, even though the pop is higher on this one than the Peterson, obviously it's twice as rare. There's 74 Blue Labels, so there's 2.5 times the number of Blue Labels and 8 Gold Label 9.8s. That book is, I hesitate to give you a price. It's about $1,200 right now, but it just keeps climbing.
Yeah.
You know, that book 3 months ago was $300-400. I mean, it's
Staples
it's quadruple.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last version, which I think is the sleeper, Alex, the sleeper, the second print, which came out a month later in August.
Mm-hmm.
It's another David Marquez cover. There are only 5 Blue Label 9.8s, 0 Gold Label 9.8s. Believe it or not, even in raw condition, it's not easy to find that book. I see those books $25 to $30, even upwards of $50 in very high grade in raw condition. Try to find a 9.8 and send it in, because I bet you could get at least $200 or more, because for whatever reason, we've talked about this in the past with second prints and third prints, that particular second print, maybe because there were so many variations of number 1.
Yep.
They didn't print a lot of them. Where were you in 2014 when that book came out, Alex?
I was at the shop. I was there.
You're at the shop. Do you remember what was going on with that book at the time? Did it have the heat at the time?
It didn't have the heat. You know, this is the second to third Miles Morales book. It only lasted 12 issues. Everybody knew it was going to end after a while because Secret Wars was coming, and it kind of wiped the Ultimate Universe. This is the last Miles Morales in the Ultimate Universe book. And then there's another series after this, and then another series after that. So it kind of I think it gets lost with some regular readers in the shuffle. At this point, Miles Morales was into Spider-Verse wasn't a thing quite yet. I mean, people were fans, comic book fans were fans of Miles Morales, but he wasn't what he became, I think, right after Secret Wars when he did join the regular Marvel Universe. That's when you start seeing that uptick. So I think this series was slept on a little bit.
It will be interesting if they do make him a live action character. I think they should use Shameek. I like the continuity. I like what DC has done in some of their series where, they brought, some of the old Superman back into the Crisis crossovers, like the Brandon Rouths and some of those guys. I like when they do that. It gives the fans some consistency. It gives them something to cheer about. Shameek's a great actor. He's been on some Netflix shows. Like, he should be Spider-Man. He should be. And
in the comics, I mean, Miles Morales is in the Ultimate Universe. And then there's the Marvel 616 that we know. And there is a Miles Morales in that universe. He's an adult. But, when the worlds kind of collided and everything, the adult Miles Morales leaves the regular Marvel Universe to go to the Ultimate Universe to be with the love of his life. And then our Miles, Spider-Man, comes to the Marvel Universe. So 100%, the age isn't a thing. He could still be Miles. He could do it.
Absolutely. By the way, one correction to my earlier, I said there were 5 versions. There's 4 versions. I realize that now I have the numbers wrong. So I think that wraps it up for this week. We will tackle the 2019 series at a future date because, again, it's very complicated. There's a lot of different versions. We want to give you line by line, take you version by version so that you can make sense of all the different iterations that are out there.
Yeah, agreed.
So, Alex, do we have anything else for today? That wraps us up.
I think we're doing it. We did it. We're all set.
All right. So we will see you next week. Same
bat time.
Same bat channel. I switched it up.
You did. You got me. You almost got me.
I threw you off for a loop. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Podcast
everybody.
Land. If you think we missed anything or you want us to cover anything, put us in the comments and we'll hit it up in the future.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.